Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to break down exactly how to transform that classic Greek mythology trope of heroes versus monsters into highly engaging, action-packed content. Let's be real, if you're looking to build a compelling narrative, there is absolutely no better foundation than these legendary clashes. And we are going to learn how to systematize this entire process using a Gemini notebook. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. First, the archetypal mythological struggle. Second, building the battle database. Third, the pre-fight comparative analysis. And finally, outlining the main event. All right, let's dive right into section 1, the archetypal mythological struggle, facing impossible odds. Why do audiences love this format so much? Well, to build a great narrative, we really have to treat these myths almost like a giant tournament bracket. We inherently love watching an underdog face completely impossible odds against some terrifying entity. But here's the thing, these encounters aren't just physical fights. They're actually the ultimate test of a hero's arete, which is their excellence, their absolute worth, and basically their proof of divine favor. Now, to elevate your story, you've got to ask the big thematic questions. It is not just about swinging swords around. Did the hero actually win through raw skill on their own, or was it through divine intervention? Like, did a god literally hand them a cheat code, like Hermes' winged sandals or Athena's shield? You also need to look closely at the antagonist. Is the monster pure, unadulterated evil, or are they a tragic figure suffering a divine punishment, kind of like Medusa? Exploring these themes is what makes the showdown completely unforgettable. Moving right along to section 2, building the battle database. Time to map out those stats. If you want to make your content truly professional, you should follow this super clean 4-step workflow in your Gemini notebook. First, create the hero database. Second, build the monster dossier. Third, run your comparative analyses. And fourth, draft the script flow. Let's take a closer look at exactly how to build those first two databases. So, your hero database is where you isolate your variables. Look at the stark contrasts here. Perseus, he relies on wits and Athena's shield, while Heracles, he relies entirely on raw, unbridled strength and endurance. No magic weapons needed. Then you've got Theseus, driven by pure courage, and Odysseus, armed with literally nothing but cunning. Getting these traits organized allows you to craft distinct, highly personalized combat styles for your script. Directly opposing those heroes is your monster dossier. Here, you're tracking the origin and that primary defensive gimmick the hero has to overcome. Medusa is a tragic figure with a literal one-hit kill stone gaze. The Hydra relies on rapid regeneration. The Minotaur is trapped in a totally claustrophobic labyrinth, while Polyphemus, the Cyclops, just represents pure, raw, giant size. Every single gimmick forces a completely different kind of fight. Okay, section 3, the pre-fight comparative analysis. Let's smash some data together. Now, this is where you really get to spark some debate. You can ask Gemini directly to compare these tactical approaches. For example, prompt it to analyze who was actually more clever. Was it Theseus, who had to test his courage against the deep psychological horror of a maze? Or was it Odysseus, who was outsmarting the raw, mindless power of Polyphemus? Setting up these direct comparisons just makes your narrative so much richer. And finally, section 4, outlining the main event, chronological battles. With our databases built and our pre-fight comparisons all dialed in, it's time to organize the battles. The source material proposes structuring your final project around exactly 3 epic, escalating rounds of combat. And this follows a punchy 45-second intro where you establish that archetypal struggle we talked about. 3 rounds is really just the magic number for building up tension. Let's break them down. Round 1 kicks things off with brains versus brawn. This is Theseus taking on the Minotaur. In this section, you're going to want to focus heavily on the environment. Explain the intense claustrophobia of the labyrinth, the crazy navigation required, and the deep psychological horror of facing a monster that is basically a living divine punishment. It is a fantastic test of courage to hook your audience right from the get-go. Next up, round 2 raises the stakes with Perseus versus Medusa. Now here, you shift your analytical focus entirely to the specific gear utilized. This is a brilliant battle of wits and divine aid. You analyze exactly how Perseus used Athena's shield, breaking down the intense tactical strategy required to beat a tragic figure whose gimmick is, again, literally a one-hit killstone gaze. Finally, round 3 delivers the ultimate climax, the impossible battle, featuring Heracles taking on the Hydra. In this final round, you can just leave the intricate tactics behind. focus entirely on sheer action, brute strength, and incredible endurance. It is pure intensity against a terrifying entity with an impossible regenerating gimmick. This provides the massive, explosive finale your structure absolutely demands. To leave your own audience energized, you want to spike engagement by having them actually apply the stats you just taught them. So I'm going to leave you with the exact same question to ponder as we wrap up our explainer today. Looking at the tactics, the divine intervention, and the incredible stakes, which battle was the most legendary?